Look at those ingredients. For shame, for
Well,
shame, for
howdy
shame.
do, buckaroos. So I've got another beer from the Leinenkugels Explorer Pack. Sorry, the beer, I didn't even get up there close where you see the Canoe Paddler. They call it a Kolsch style. They don't call it a Kolsch exactly. Let me get up their website here and read just a little bit. Leinenkugels Canoe Paddler, the Kolsch style, was born in 1906 in Cologne and as a crisp, easy drinking beer that combats the summer heat. As a family of German brewers, our Leinenkugels Canoe Paddler has a touch of rye to give this traditional Kolsch style beer a silky texture, slightly spicy flavor, and a smooth, dry finish. It's our take on the German classic that's perfect for winding down and relaxing. Kick back and get ready for the warm weather by pairing it with foods like asparagus and goat cheese, salad, or Mediterranean chicken with pasta. Ingredients: water, barley malt, rye, corn syrup, yeast, and hops. So that's important because it does employ an adjunct that's not typical for the style. Now, there are some styles that typically have an adjunct, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. Adjuncts aren't necessarily evil. It's again, we're talking about the quality of the adjunct used and the quantity. My issue here is, and I haven't even tasted it yet, is that there is no reason for this beer to employ corn syrup other than to cut costs. But I'm going to give it a chance here. This style is typically a little fruity and then very clean, crisp, and dry at the end. The aroma on this is a little sweeter than typical. Yeah, it's actually not bad, but it doesn't finish as clean, crisp, and dry as a craft Kolsch does. Many craft Kolsch style beers that I have had finish much cleaner, and it's because they're employing corn syrup in a beer that just doesn't need corn syrup. The only reason to put corn syrup in this beer is to cut costs. It isn't to add flavor. It isn't to make it easier drinking. It is to cut costs. Let me be 100% clear on that. Did I make myself clear? There is no frickin' reason to add corn syrup to this beer unless you're trying to cut costs. And that's my problem. People say, well, Tom, just because a brewery is owned by a macro, what difference does it make? Well, this is the difference, folks. This is the difference. In almost all cases, most that I can think of at the moment, at some point, maybe not immediately, but at some point, quality does suffer. Quality and creativity do suffer at some point. Leinenkugels is a perfect example. Over the years, their beers are not the same, in my opinion. And I've said in another video, some of that could possibly be that I've had other beer styles. But when I look at the ingredients that they're using, I know some of these ingredients weren't used in the past. Now, did Canoe Paddler always use corn syrup? I don't know. Probably the Canoe Paddler isn't that old, so it probably did. But another beer in the Miller Coors stable is Henry Weinhardt's Private Reserve. And you look at the ingredients on that beer, and it does employ corn syrup as well. Now, I happen to know for an absolute frickin' fact that the original version of Henry's, when they were well, I don't know if they were ever considered a microbrew or craft brew, but I know the original version back in the 80s that I was drinking back in the 80s, I should say, did not employ corn syrup. See, that's why it matters, folks. There are so many folks that say, well, it doesn't matter. It does matter, and that's why. And I think some people just cling and keep doing commercials for beers like this and breweries like this because in most cases they're trying to get free beer. I mean, you can see folks give an A plus to a beer that clearly isn't an A plus, but they don't want that gravy train to end. So they're going to keep talking about how wonderful the beer is, and they're going to post pictures of every little change that brewer makes, every can change, every bottle change. Every time a beer truck passes their neighborhood, they want to make a, because because they have no integrity, because they're trying to get free beer. That's what they're doing. It does make a difference who owns the brewery. Quality does matter, by golly. That's why I rarely buy products like this for exactly this reason. However, having said all of that, if having this faux Kolsch, having this full Kolsch just makes one guy actually want to seek out an actual, honest to goodness German or craft American craft Kolsch. By golly, if we can get one convert from this, not quite a Kolsch over here, then it is worth it. So sometimes beers like this do serve a purpose. But is this a quality Kolsch? Would I ever recommend this beer to anybody? No. It doesn't. It doesn't have the flavor it should have. It doesn't have the body it should have. It doesn't finish as crisp, clean, and dry as it should. It does not get there on any freaking level. And if you're given a beer like this, an A plus for the style, you either have no idea what a Kolsch is, or you have no integrity, and you're just trying to get on that free beer bandwagon. It's time to beer whisper. We'll talk to you later. And he should have said, no, 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 the courts are a man.